Bam! Back to the Culling game stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I was not too interested in like the chapters going over to stuff like Yaga and what was going on with Maki. I mean, like I like the Zenin information that we got and like some of the like looking into the Zenin clan, but I think it was way too short, and I feel like that's because of Akutami's like health that was going on at the time. So I don't really put anything on the series or the manga. It just to me I was like, I want to get back to the Culling game. I was willing to be patient. I didn't have problems, like I said. The mangaka's health was in some issues. That's why it was that month-long hiatus, and we're back now. And I feel like you can tell like that rested a lot because since it came back, the flow has felt way more like how it was pretty much before like we started getting into like the time skip stuff. Because once we started seeing like, okay, this character's dead, the Zenin clan getting massacred and stuff, it just felt like it was like trying to skip over some stuff, and that's part of the reason I think that I wasn't a huge fan of what was going on. But like back to the Culling game stuff, I like what we're seeing with one of these new rules. I like these two characters that we're seeing. I know one was like that comedian that we were introduced a couple chapters ago. And then this brand new character who I can't tell if it's a dude or a chick. I don't really know. But looks a bit like looks like Satoru Gojo, tiny bit, just in like the face area. Obviously, I feel like it's one of those characters where if we had it in color, the color palette would be different enough that really it would just you wouldn't even really think too much about the previous character, unless this is somehow related to Satoru. I don't really know. Either way, I like this character so far. I like what they've added to the Culling game. Because, like, the whole using points to kind of, like, put extra rules in there is definitely one of the most interesting aspects of the game. Because I would assume anybody could do anything to really, like, to really enhance, like, their own capabilities. Like, imagine a character who wasn't using any cursed tools, but then set up a rule that you can't use cursed tools, or, you get X punishment, and then just completely screws over a lot of people, gives you the advantage in that area. But the stuff with like Akari's having some funny moments over with Megumi. I actually like that. I thought that was more interesting of Akari's character than what we've had so far, just because it was like he was more astonished a little bit, but not kind of like shocked. Or he's like, oh wow, you're actually the the head of the Zenin clan. When Megumi told him, and he immediately thought about how he could work this to his advantage, and he started being really friendly. I thought that was pretty funny. I like that side just because it shows that he's just like, yeah, this could be real estate for later. I'll kind of play it cool. And that's when we got like the addition of the new rule 9 from this dude or chick, I can't really tell, who killed like this one dude. You see like this big hole like through the torso of this guy, and there's a huge crater in the wall, and he just completely pressed up. And I don't really know like what it could have done. Maybe just raw physical strength. This guy's carrying a staff. And there were comments about like saying, the sorcerers were much stronger 400 years ago. So I'm guessing that this guy is one of the ones that is like, a much older character reborn in some newer person's body, and now is a part of the Culling game. And I guess I would really need to know more about the character to really understand whatever they're trying to do now. The only thing we know is that they're aiming for Sukuna. The one thing I actually was not very fond of in this chapter, and I'll be honest, it's not a bad thing. It's more of a personal opinion thing. It's nothing that's gonna be like changing my opinion on the series. I still enjoyed Jujutsu Kaisen. I watched the animes that's coming out. I've been reading the manga since I think it was like chapter 18, somewhere around that area. But there was information while they're talking about how at some point Kenjaku might have like contracted with Sukuna, who used to be a human, and turned him into a cursed object. I kind of liked it more, like, just from the idea that Sukuna, was the pinnacle of the curses and stuff. Like, some form of cursed king. I know they call him the king curses, but I was really hoping for, like, some actual, like, long-existing cursed creature that has just kind of always been around or something. I'm not too keen on the idea that this guy, like, that was kind of plopped down at the end of Shibuya. I liked the plot twist with him. I thought that was cool. But I don't really like the idea of his character kind of almost kind of like overruling Sukuna in that matter for like the biggest character. It's not the same as like Kaguya, overtaking Madara. Obviously, like this has been built up a lot better than what happened with Kaguya and stuff. But it's that same kind of odd vibe where like a character that is kind of revealed to end up being way bigger than who else was already there. But to a character that has been in the series since the start and really been the focus since the start, I don't really know. Like, I can think of another character like this. It was kind of like when Zagreus showed up in Black Clover. Not the same thing, because, like, Zagreus and Kaguya are two polar opposites. Kaguya was, like, not a very good plot twist for a lot of reasons at the time. I did like when... I like the lore that it opened up with, whereas, like, Zagreus, his plot twist was really good, and it was good for the story and whatnot, on top of lore and everything. I'm guessing that, well, I feel like, I don't really need to guess. Even though I'm not too keen on this switch for Jujutsu Kaisen, I feel like it's something that has been long since planned, and Akutami's got this all schemed out. So, you know, I've said it before, what makes sense for the story is more important than, like, you know, base character or wish list feelings. Like, just because I wanted Sukuna to be at a different standing doesn't mean that that's what was going to happen for the story. I mean, you can look at something, another thing that I had a long sense of beef with was, like, Deku having all those different quirks. I've been not fond of that since day one, but, you know, it makes sense for the story, so it's, like, more important than my own goes at this. Either way, this guy now is one of the big front runners for the Culling game, because he's already got over 100 points, he or she, I don't really know. The other person is, what's the comedian guy's name? Hiromi Higuma. I'm just scrolling through the chapter, because that's a really weird looking dude. Unless that's somebody else that was in there, because it looks like him, but I have to go back and... No, it doesn't, actually, because that guy had big sideburns. See, some of these characters, they just haven't really been around a lot, so I don't have them as memorized. So we got these two characters, and I had to go back and look, so I hopefully don't forget this guy, because the weird comedian guy I have a lot of hype for. I don't know why. I feel like that Akutami, while getting some of the characters prepped up, I feel like you watched the Joker movie, and then just like, man, I really want to make some crazy-ass killer like this in my series, some like absolute lunatic. Because I like Akutami's bad guys. I like the villains more than I like the protagonists. I still like the protagonists, but I really like how the villains can be just super ruthless in this series, and especially like the more human ones, because instead of making them like creepy cursed people from whatever, you know, centuries ago, you end up just making them like really deranged serial killers and like have some form of weird gimmick to like their killing, and I mean, that's just kind of fun when you know, I mean, from a fictional standpoint, obviously. But I can't wait to see how some of these guys go. Like the comedian guy, I don't think that's the same as this Hiromi guy. I'm gonna have to go back and double check. We got that guy a while ago, but I don't think it's the same one, because he doesn't have those big sideburns, at least I'm remembering. And this guy has a gavel for some reason, and now the other dude is like a failing comedian. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Well, the specifics of where those go. But I mean, like, I can go back and look at the other dude and like, be able to determine whether this is him or not. It's probably not, and I'm just forgetting. Either way, comment below, tell me your thoughts throughout this chapter. I thought it was pretty solid. I like where things are moving along again. I want to get to the Culling game and see how things are going to progress now with like who's going to be the adversaries and whatnot, because we need some good new bad guys in the series. But anyway, other than that, comment below, thumbs up the video for the like button, subscribe button, check out my other videos. But that, I appreciate it. Subscribe. Thank you all for listening. Bye.